Yeah, good. I suppose, look, it was always inevitable that this would happen, Eamon, and there was a lot of talk that it would happen this season. Still, it did kind of catch me by surprise today, I have to say.
Yeah, I think he's done the right thing, but he's been a giant in the game. You know, he's been one of the greats, and I know a very gracious tribute from Alex Ferguson and many other people. He's been 22 years in English football, and I think he transformed the game in many ways, and everyone has referred to these ways: diet, fitness, looking after yourself, no drink on the coach, all of that. But most importantly, he built great teams and won 3 championships. He won the double 3 times. They had the Invincible, a team that went through the league in a whole season, which even Manchester City or Manchester United, the great sides they had, never did. Going through the season unbeaten. And the style of football he played and favoured, again, coming to the Premier League and playing like that was, innovative. He had great players, Henry, Vieira, Dennis Bergkamp, who was an underachiever really before he was coached by Arsene Wenger and became a great player, a real, truly great player, and many others. So I think when he was on a level playing field in terms of wages and ability to buy players, he was a great coach. But there are some obstacles that he couldn't overcome in the last 10 years, really, which are to do with the financial model that Arsenal have adopted. And they did that really, and this is probably his greatest and most long-lasting achievement. He oversaw the transition from Highbury, which held 38,000 people, to the Emirates, which is magnificent, holds about 68 or 70,000 people, and that's a hugely expensive move. It transforms the club in all kinds of ways. I mean, Highbury was a tight ground. There was atmosphere. The crowd were close to you, to a different stadium. And that will be his memorial, I think, that he was able to do that. He didn't complain and whinge so much as, he did, of course, in recent seasons, refer to financial doping.
Yes.
Which is really what's going on.
That was born out of what I remember at the time was a huge frustration with what Roman Abramovich did coming into Chelsea, and they just they blew the other clubs out of the water, whereas Wenger had tried to develop a team by signing quite astutely players that weren't big names and developing them rather than going out and spending a whole lot of money. So I think he quite resented what Chelsea did under Abramovich.
I think it frustrated him, and now you have Manchester City who have owners with unlimited wealth. PSG also have owners from Qatar with unlimited amounts of money to spend. So he wasn't able to get the players he wanted. Then he did try to sign Theo Walcott from Southampton when Walcott was young, but he never quite made it, Walcott. Oxlade-Chamberlain is another player. There were a lot of young players that he signed that never quite were able to be good enough for that club. So his story is complicated or complex in that if you judged him on the first 10 years, you'd say he was magnificent. If you forgot the first 10 years and judged him on the last 10 years, you'd see a different picture. But on the day that he retires, you have to look at the whole picture. And I think the whole picture is that he belongs with the great coaches, Ferguson, of course, but others like Bob Paisley, Bill Shankly, Matt Busby, Jock Stein. There's a very great pantheon of British manager coaches that's out there, and he belongs right up there with them for the work he did with Arsenal. He's an amazing man, really. And I've always held that opinion, even though the team in recent seasons has been very disappointing, and he seemed to sign players who were, shall we say, a bit deficient in the guts department. Aesthetically, he liked to see good football played, but it requires his great teams actually with people like Adams and Vieira were tough. They mixed the two.
Yeah.
But he wasn't able to do that. But I think it's been a magnificent career. I think he's left a mark for his club, and I think he's left a mark on the game in a big way.